Level 1. The dependent. You are 24 years old. Payday lands on the 15th and the 30th, and by the 28th your account is already thin. You check your balance walking to the train station. You do the maths in your head before you order coffee, and some mornings the coffee loses. Every dollar you earn today pays for that same day, plus a little of yesterday's debt. If you stopped working tomorrow, you have 12 days of runway before real trouble starts. You know that number by heart because you have read it is close to the median buffer for a household your age, and you believe it because you feel it. Your salary is the only machine in your life that produces money, and it only runs while you are awake and sitting at a desk. You have never once, not one single time, made $1 while you were asleep. That thought sits with you at 2 a.m. sometimes, uninvited. Your rent takes almost a third of your income before you ever see it land. Your subscriptions renew themselves quietly. Your superannuation grows at a pace too slow to feel. You scroll past ads for property portfolios and dividend screenshots and assume the people posting them are lying or already rich, or both. You are not lazy. You are not careless. You are simply living on the only income model most people are ever taught. Hours traded directly for dollars, with nothing left over that grows on its own while you sleep. Level 2. The Dabbler. Something small shifts. Your cousin mentions a high-interest savings account, so you open one and move $2,000 in. $4 land in it a month later, and you stay at those $4 longer than you have ever stayed at $4 in your life. It did nothing. It simply existed, and it grew anyway. You start reading properly for the first time. You buy your first exchange-traded fund, 1 unit, $87. You watch the price every day for a week, then never again. You start a small side project on a weekend, a digital template pack, something you build once and can sell 1,000 times over. It earns $40 in its first month while you sleep through most of the sales. You do not quit your job. You still clock in 5 days a week like everyone around you. But you now have a second machine running quietly in the background, and it does not care whether you are awake. It is small, almost embarrassingly small. Friends ask what you have been working on, and you downplay it, because $40 sounds like nothing next to a full wage. You keep going anyway. You reinvest every dividend instead of spending it. You add one more small holding, one more product, a few more dollars a month. You are not rich. You are not free. You have simply proven, quietly and only to yourself, that money can be built to work without you standing over it. Level 3. The Builder. 3 years further in, the small streams have started to merge into something real. Your share portfolio pays $340 every quarter without you touching it. Your digital products, 4 of them now, bring in roughly $600 most months. You save a deposit and buy a small rental unit. After the mortgage, it nets you $180 a month, some months less, some months a burst pipe swallows the whole thing and more. You have learned that passive does not mean effortless. It means the effort already happened, earlier, somewhere upstream. You spend weekends now on spreadsheets instead of scrolling, tracking yield and occupancy and churn like it is a second job, because in a sense it is. Your combined passive income sits near $1,800 a month. It does not cover your whole life yet, but it covers your phone bill, your groceries, your gym membership, without you lifting a finger that month. You mention what you are building to people now, carefully, because you were burned once by a friend's investment that turned out to be a failing business wearing a nicer name. You have learned the difference between an asset that pays you and a hobby that quietly costs you. Your job still funds most of your life. But for the first time, you notice the outline of an exit, distant and blurry, but genuinely there. You are no longer only working. You are also building something that works for you. Level 4. The Cushion. 7 years from that first $4 deposit, your passive income crosses $5,200 a month. That number matters because it is roughly what your basic life costs. Rent, food, insurance, utilities, transport, all of it. You run the test everyone in this world eventually runs. You take a real month off from your job. No side hustling, no performative grind. And you watch your bills pay themselves from dividends and rent and royalties alone. They do. Your hands shake a little checking the account on day 30. This is not wealth. Your car is still a decade old. You still compare grocery prices out of habit, not necessity. But the machine underneath your life is now strong enough to catch you if the job vanished tomorrow. You have 4 rental units now, spread across 2 cities, chosen for yield instead of glamour. Your share portfolio pays you every quarter like clockwork. 2 digital products still sell on autopilot from writing you finished 2 years ago. Friends start asking real questions now. Not out of curiosity, but out of need. You answer honestly. It was boring. It was slow. It took years of reinvesting instead of spending. Nobody wants that answer. Everybody wants a shortcut. There isn't one. You keep working your job anyway, for now, because momentum is worth more right now than pride. Level 5, the free. The number arrives on an ordinary Tuesday. Your passive income for the month lands at $9,400, and your job pays you $7,200. For the first time in your life, the machine you built earns more than the machine that is you. You sit with that fact for 3 full days before telling anyone. You hand in your notice on a Thursday. Your manager asks if you have another job lined up. You say not exactly, and you don't explain the rest, because it still sounds unbelievable even to you. Your income now comes from 6 separate sources instead of 1. Dividends, 7 rental doors, a library of digital products running on autopilot, licensing fees from a course you recorded 18 months ago, and a small quarterly stake in a friend's business. No single source failing can end your life anymore. That redundancy, not the money itself, is the actual freedom. You wake up without an alarm for the first time in a decade and feel oddly guilty about it for weeks. You fill the empty hours with things you always said you would do, and half of them turn out to be boring once you finally have unlimited time for them. You start managing your assets like a small business now, because functionally, that is exactly what they have become. You are not rich yet. You are simply, finally, no longer required to trade another hour for survival. Level 6, the empire. A decade after that first $4 interest payment, your passive income has become a portfolio you review with an accountant, not a spreadsheet you check alone at midnight. You own a small block of 8 rental units through a company structure, a diversified share portfolio worth 7 figures, silent stakes in 3 businesses where other people do the founding, and a licensing arm that pays you for work you barely remember doing. Some months bring in $60,000. Some bring in $110,000. You stopped needing either number to mean much personally a while ago. You now employ a property manager, a bookkeeper, and a virtual assistant who answers to people you have never actually met on your behalf. You have learned that at this scale, your job is not to work harder. It is to make fewer, better decisions and let systems execute them without you. You still get calls at odd hours, a burst pipe, a tenant dispute, a market downturn that halves a paper valuation overnight. Money at this scale does not remove problems. It only changes their shape. Old friends assume you no longer worry about anything. You do. You worry about diversification, about tax structures, about what happens to all of this on the day you are finally gone. You built an engine. Now the real job is making sure it outlives you. Level 7, the legacy. You are older now, and the raw numbers stopped being the interesting part years ago. Your assets sit inside a family trust that pays out to people who never had to personally ask you for money, because the structure already accounts for them. Your rental portfolio has grown into commercial property you have never physically visited, managed by a team who reports to another team. Your share portfolio compounds quietly in the background of a life that no longer revolves around checking it every quarter. You give away a fixed percentage every single year to a scholarship fund at the school you once almost dropped out of, and to a housing charity in the city where all of this began. You sit down with your own kids at 16 and explain compound interest the way nobody ever properly explained it to you, using the same $4 interest story you have now told for 30 years. They roll their eyes. You tell it anyway. You think, sometimes, about the version of you who once stared at a bank statement wondering if $4 meant anything at all. It did. It was never really about the $4. It was proof that money could work without you standing over it, and that a life built on that proof, patiently, for decades, eventually stops needing you to run it at all. The cycle continues.